I know, and I tell you, there were instances that things were sometimes really so difficult to the extent that my dad would send me to a Kenkey seller to go and buy Kenkey on credit. Kenkey with no fish. So we can have that. That was going
That's
to be
how bad.
say that again?
Wow. I said that's how bad things were. Welcome to this episode. Today we have an awesome guest with us, and he's going to share amazing nuggets in the field of financial services to us. He's none other than a great friend, Mr. Wisdom Kofi Dogbey. And Wisdom actually is in North Carolina, a very beautiful city of Charlotte. I've been there a couple of times, probably twice, and it's an amazing city. I think it's the banking hub of America, right? If I'm not mistaken.
It's becoming.
It's becoming. Okay.
With New York.
So,
yeah.
oh wow. I like North Carolina more than New York, because New York is too busy. So you are welcome to the show.
Thank you so much.
Awesome. So the context of our discussion basically is going to center on some of the things, your experiences and the things that you've gone through, and how that could lay in very well to sort of speak to the young people in Africa and even young Africans, even in the diaspora as well, who are looking for role models and mentors and generally people that they can look up to as having achieved something with their lives, maybe vis-a-vis coming from difficult backgrounds, like all of us do. So that's the framework that our discussion is going to be. So to begin, I know that Wisdom works with one of the best banks or financial institutions that is very, very popular. That is American Express. Wisdom works with American Express. He's the director in charge of Treasury. He's going to explain, he's going to unpack all of that. I'm just going to attempt to, sugarcoat and dress it nicely, and he's going to unpack what he really does to us. So he works in the division of global treasury, middle office controller, and I know he's worked with other financial institutions like Bank of America, Wells Fargo, and the rest. And Wisdom, we are excited to have you here, and we are super excited that you are going to share with us what it is that you do, if you don't mind. So, Wisdom, can you talk us through what you currently do and what it entails?
Sure. First of all, thank you so much for having me. I am really excited to be here. You in your introduction, you said an awesome guy and all of that. I don't know if I've reached that awesome level yet. I'm the average guy, so I appreciate you having me here. So, in my current role, I lead the Treasury Middle Office Controllership team globally within American Express, like you said. American Express is a global financial services company that offers very top-notch payment card services and also some banking products around the globe. Now, to better understand my role, my team is made up of very savvy professionals that work together pretty well, to operationalize the funding and the liquidity strategy of the company globally. And to break it down a little further, right, my team ensures that when we issue debt and invest in, say, treasuries, those transactions are accurately captured, confirmed, and also settled in an efficient manner. We're also responsible for correctly booking the accounting that goes with, all of this debt, securities, and also derivative accounting if we hedge these instruments. Now, pretty demanding job, right? But it's very exciting and fulfilling. I tell you, I work 70 to 80 hours a week, but I
wouldn't doubt that.
And it's also pretty humbling. So I appreciate the opportunity to share that.
Wow, wow. We appreciate you being here. Let me quickly try to unpack this because there are a lot of financial services jargons in there, right? So, uh, I know it flows very easily to you. So, I remember my first foray into anything treasury was early on in my career in England. I used to work for a travel and tours and airline company. It's no longer in business, but it was based out in Manchester, England. It was called My Travel Group Limited. It then morphed to become part of the Thomas Cook Group, which was a bigger travel and tours business. So I was working in finance at that time. So that's where I started my career. And where my first professional job was a treasury assistant. So we did all these massive bank reconciliations in major currencies all around the world because the company owned hotels all over the place, in Sharm el-Sheikh, in Egypt, in Mexico, and Florida, and California, all over Europe. They owned hotels, and then they had a fleet of about 200 or so Boeing, I think 727 aircrafts. Taking people all over the place, and some cruise liners as well. So one of the things that I always heard them talk about was they were talking about hedging fuel, and then hedging currency. So it was fascinating, and it's like wow. I was thrown in this sea of all these super smart financial people who were just talking about all these things. So that's why I got to know about options and swaps and all those kind of things. So these are just primary level things. So in the nutshell, when you say financial instruments, what does it really mean?
Yeah, so think about it this way, right? Mm-hmm. The organization is very heavy when it comes to payment card services. So if you have a credit card and you go out to the store, you buy something, right?
Yes.
You have 30 days, right, to make the payment before we actually even start charging you any interest on that.
Correct.
And so the company's responsibility at that point is to make payment to that merchant, right?
Yes.
So we are always in the business of making sure that we have enough funds to cover all of these transactions. So how do we do this? There are a bunch of different ways. We go and raise funding on the market. Issue medium-term notes, asset-backed securities, and different type of debt. That's how we are able to raise the fund and have it handy so that when the customer buys something, we can make that payment. And the customer has all these 30 days to pay us back. And that's the business that we do. So we're constantly raising funds. So in the very simple terms, we're raising funds to cover up the transactions that our customers are doing.
Wow, that is fascinating to know because when you have a American Express card and I think you're in the same business like Visa, MasterCard, right?
Right. Some that we're better.
I know. We're gonna get there.
And we also do have banking products, right? We do have an assortment of services. American Express is all over the world, right? So we have banking, we have insurance in some jurisdictions, so we have different products and services. So as far as that, all of that is concerned, the funding instruments, when we say instrument, we're talking about debt instrument,
right,
and also liquidity instruments.
Okay. Wow. So what you said is amazing because using credit card, as an individual, you never think about the credit card issuer having to have funds ready or having to raise funds continually just to pay what I'm buying. That never even processed my mind as a consumer. I don't know, but it is like I'm getting a whole new education here. It's like, okay, we picture it like, oh wow, these guys, they are so rich. There's a sea of unlimited funds there that, I just swipe my card and somebody pays. They have all this money sitting there, gazillion amount of money that's just sitting there, and then I use it, and at the end of 30 days, I pay. And if something goes wrong, then I get hit with an interest rate, and at the end of the year, it's like, wow, it gave me all these juicy deals or juicy baits to use the card. And at the end of the year, I start hitting on them. Oh man, these guys are charging too much. So that is awesome education. So with that said, with that said, so you do both debt, funding, you raise debt, and then also I think you also do some equity as well. Or
we do what we call the treasuries, right? So look at it this way: it's like a scale, right? For a company like American Express, we are constantly raising funds to make sure that we have what it takes, to make the payments when the customer swipes the card. But then, for instance, look at what happened during the pandemic. Not a lot of people were shopping and traveling and all of that stuff. So spending really went down, right? So we had excess cash. So when we have that excess cash, how do we invest that money to make sure that it's not just sitting idle? And so we decide to buy like bond, T-bills, treasury bills, just like in Ghana, right?
Yes.
And we buy those bonds over here. So those are the treasuries that my team is responsible for operationalizing that as well.
Wow, that is awesome. So which geographical locations does your team, or actually your division, cover? I know you mentioned it vaguely, and I was very impressed. It's like, if you don't mind going over some of the countries or some of the regions that you cover.
No, it's very humbling, right, to lead a team across the globe. I have a team in the United States, in Mexico. We are covering transactions across Australia, Brazil, India, UK, and all of those places. We have a presence all over the place.
All over. Wow. Hey, and you're Ghanaian, right?
Yes, I'm a Ghanaian. Sure. It's always going to be in my blood.
They're black stars. Wow, I'm amazing. Amazing.
I see it as sometimes when you sit in a position of authority like this, right? It's very easy to forget who you are or where you come from, right?
Yes.
One of the things I try never to do is to understand who I am, right? And also know the fact that I'm not here because of anything that is so special about me. I see it more as a divine orchestration, right?
Yes.
So if you know and understand the source of promotions like this
Definitely
come to you, it will humble you instead of getting into your head, right? It should definitely humble you. And besides, I'll tell you, to be honest, I don't do all of the work, right?
Okay.
I have very senior managers on the team that are pretty savvy. They understand what they're doing. They understand how all of these trades need to be executed in the United States, in Mexico, wherever. They know what they're doing. So it's all about having that team and trusting them that they know what they're doing and providing that strategic oversight for the entire team across the globe. That's what I do, right? And it helps me because the people on my team, the colleagues of my team, I call them colleagues, not subordinates. In Ghana, they call it subordinates, right? Over here, we don't do stuff like that. It's more of my peers or my colleagues. And they report to me and all of that. But I say all of that to mean these guys are very smart people. They know what they're doing. They are always keeping me up to date what is going on in the different regions that we operate in, and it's been a good journey so far.
Amazing. That is awesome, and I appreciate your sense of meekness. That's yes, I think is a very positive virtue I see in you. So one question that I need to ask before we get on: how do you cover for the risk of somebody you swiping their credit card? I said, how do you cover for the risk of somebody swiping their nicely minted American Express card, putting a ton of new iPhone, new this, putting $5,000 on it, and when the time comes for them to pay and they are unable to pay or they default on it? How do you handle that?
It's a loss, right? There's
Yes.
really nothing you can do about it. Over here, you don't pay your bills, and after sometimes it goes on your credit, and that's
Yes.
really the punitive measure that is in place for the client, right? But at the end
Definitely.
of the day, we need to make sure that we fulfill that obligation to the merchants, right? So
Yes.
even if they don't pay, we pay, right?
Okay.
So if they don't pay, we're losing.
Yes.
So what the company does pretty well is the process of approving all of these credit card application. We have a very robust system, robust process, and by all means, by all accounts, we
There'll be
try to
cracks.
issue cards to the people that will be more responsible.
Yes. Yes. It's a game of probability, I guess. And
Oh yeah,
you
absolutely.
you try to filter the good guys from the front end.
And always there's going to be that kind of adverse selection, right? People put their
Yes.
best foot forward and they don't have the best intentions of paying back their credit cards and all of that
Yes.
stuff. But
Yes.
I can tell you that is a very small
Small
percentage of the
person,
clients
yes,
that we have.
yes, and I guess it's going to be covered. I don't know, but I guess it's going to be covered by some type of insurance or the interest rate you charge on the
We're making
broad.
money, right? So we'll always
Definitely,
make money. So
yes.
if somebody doesn't pay,
Somebody will pay.
no, but we don't
Amazing.
charge other clients to pay for the irresponsible behavior of other clients. We don't do
Okay,
that at all. We have better systems and processes in place.
in place. Amazing, amazing. Wow, this is an eye-opening conversation. So now tell me about some of the amazing stuff. How what was your background like? Where did you grow up from? And because you're doing all these, I know you be humble, to play down everything. But look, most Africans who come to the diaspora, in all humility, are not doing the kind of things that you are doing. I'm saying most, right? So, and I know definitely you didn't start doing big things all of a sudden. It started from somewhere. How was your upbringing, your background, your childhood, and things like? Where was that? Was it in America?
No, Isaac. I think that's a great question too. But before I answer that, I'll let you know I have some very good friends from Africa, right? That are
Great.
doing wonderful stuff, and some of them are my mentors, as a matter of fact. So, just to make that comment right there. But I started from a very humble beginning.
Mhm.
I was born and raised in Ghana, Hope
Wow.
precisely, right? Oh yeah. My dad was a career soldier. He was.
Okay.
I think. Not. I think. I know his last station was the Home Water Barracks, and that's
Okay.
where I was
What
born. That's where
region?
I was raised. So I'm a Barras boy.
Very, very disciplined guy.
I'm telling you. But I come from a large family. I have nine more siblings,
Wow.
and oh yeah, we're very loving family and very resilient
Just,
family as
just
well.
like me.
That's usually the trend, right? It used to be the trend
Yes.
back in the day. Yeah, but
Wow.
my parents, I have a lot of appreciation for my parents, right?
Mm.
My mom has never been to school, not a
Wow.
day in her life, right?
Wow.
But she's been so committed to ensuring that her kids all go to school and have that education. She always believed that education is the key, right?
Amazing.
My dad, he retired from the Ghana Army at a low rank. He was a staff sergeant when he retired from the Ghana Army. So when he went on retirement, there wasn't a lot of money. I'll tell you,
Yes.
Isaac, there wasn't a lot of money at home to afford some of the basic things. We never even had electricity at home. We never
Wow.
had a good running water at home. We had to go to school, study with this lantern, right? And we were never able to pay our school fees on time. And my dad will always come to our school to beg for us, right? To
My
beg
goodness.
for more time to pay the school fees. And thankfully, I tell you, God has been really, God has been good to us.
Yes.
He gave us understanding to, appreciate what we were being taught in school. And so, even though we struggled, we never had books to study. We never had the money to pay our fees. We never had good clothes, right? God
Mm,
gave us that understanding that when we are taught something, we're able to grasp that. And it really
amazing.
worked pretty well. And we did quite better in school. I
Quite
would say we
well.
were you know, I don't say we were the best in school, but we did pretty well in
You
school.
did well. Yes. Under the
That
circumstances.
that I know, and I tell you, there were instances that things were sometimes really so difficult to the extent that my dad would send me to a Kenkey seller to go and buy Kenkey on credit. Kenkey with no fish, so we can have that. That was going
That's
to be
how
our,
bad.
our. Say that again.
Wow. I said that's how bad things were.
Oh yeah, it was
That's amazing.
pretty difficult. But see, in all of that,
Mm,
I will tell you, my parents gave us something that money cannot buy. They gave us strong
thank you.
faith, right? They taught us the ways of God,
Oh,
and also
yes.
helped us to believe that we can achieve
Something
whatever that we set our minds to. They
to
help
do.
us to understand that other kids can come from very good homes, very wealthy homes, but the playing field can be the same, can be level if you work hard enough. And they also taught us sacrifice. I've seen my parents, they had lands, right? As I've seen them, they sold some of those lands to pay our fees, and they sold
Mm.
some of their clothes to pay our fees, to put food on the table. So they really taught us how to sacrifice. We really appreciate them for that. As I'm talking to you, I have them with me. They live with me right now in the United
Oh,
States, and it's such a blessing.
that is amazing. What a way to pay them back. It's a beautiful story. Wow. So
And we really can't pay them back fully because of everything that
no.
they've done for us. And I'll tell you, in all of this, you think that coming from such a challenging background, I would be such a good kid. I was a problem child, right? In addition to everything they were going through financially, I was also giving them problems upon problems,
Hendrix.
and they they never gave up on me at all. So I think
Amazing.
they did what they did for us is really commendable, and I just hope that I can be half of that for my children.
Oh, that will happen. Amen to that. So I'm just wondering, though. See, one of the common threads that I'm seeing, and it's almost the same with me. My mom never went to school. My dad, he worked with the Ghana Cocoa Board, and actually, by the time I even grew up, like 6 or 7 years, my dad passed. So I didn't even I didn't even know what that father figure felt like. So,
I'm sorry to hear that, Isaac.
oh yeah, we've gone past that stage long time by the grace of God. So,
Right?
yeah, we've gone past that stage long time ago. So, one of the things that really is remarkable to me, I kind of brought with it in my mind. What is it about our parents, especially parents who do not have anything, who probably may not have that much education? Where do you think they draw their sense of belief that although their children, although that they themselves had a very tough life, right? They had very tough life, but they seem to have
Mhm.
that hope and that confidence that something good will come out of their children. Where do you think they draw that kind of strength from?
Isaac, I'll be honest with you. I've thought about that, and I've never come up with a very good answer. But my suspicion is the values that they've had, right?
Okay.
And I would say even that from a spiritual point of view, because my parents were not Christians when they got married. It was later down the road that they converted to Christianity. But I
Okay.
think that back in their day, in their generation, they valued virtue so much, right? They
Mm.
had this sense of value within themselves, and also, what? How did they say this? The dignity of work. They
Okay.
understood that to the extent that they believed if you worked hard, you can
Mhm.
definitely achieve your goals and your dreams. I think that their generation is very different from my generation. Think about this, right? When my dad retired, he was not working, and my mom had to step in and she started selling clothes, chaliwote, and all of those things to support the family. You know,
Yes.
with what my mom went through when my dad had nothing, I really struggled to see how widespread that could be in our generation today.
Mm.
And that can do attitude, supportive attitude, those values. I think that really is a key contributor to what they did for some of us. I used to follow my mom, right? I used to sell clothes. I used to put it on top of my head and go to these markets in Sogakove, Ho, and all the different places that my mom would go to. And I would sell this stuff with her, not because I wanted to. She wanted me to be there. And I can tell you, if I had any business acumen today, I would tell you it came
It
from
comes from
following
there.
my mom and
Exactly.
selling with her.
Exactly. It's almost the same. It's like we have parallel stories, man. It's we go, my mom was a second-hand clothing seller. So we would
Uh-huh.
typically and there were 11 of us, right? 11 of us. I happened to be the very last. So later on, we
Good
lost
for
one
you
of.
then.
Yes, man. It's I wouldn't go that far. I'm not to spot last
It's
month,
always
man.
much easier for the last ones, right?
In my case, it probably wasn't. So what I did though, well, I think what helped me most is I had the opportunity to observe the life, the good, the bad, the ugly for most of my older siblings. So that when it came to me making very difficult, important choices in life, all that information came in to help me make me better,
Right.
to make better choices. I think that's the best advantage that I got. You know,
Yeah.
being
Yeah.
in
And I can relate to that. I definitely
yes,
can relate to that as well. I
exactly.
observe my big brothers, make mistakes and
Yes,
make important decisions and all of that. So I think I gleaned on their experiences, and
yes, yes.
I I would say, unlike you, I would say I always made better choices. I always got
Anyway,
into problems, right? But it helped me to understand what is right and what is not right, even when I was growing up.
yes. So hindsight is always 50-50, they say. But the key point is looking at people who going through what they're going through based on the information they had in front of them.
Hmm.
And then once it gets to my time to make those kind of decisions, now I have somebody whom or a group of people that I could say, okay, Mr. A did this and this happened. B did this, that happened. C did this. Okay, based on that, that's synthesized information. I think I will do this rather because I want this
Right.
particular outcome. So sometimes it works.
Yeah.
Almost times it works. Sometimes too, they are outliers. Sometimes there are things beyond our control. But I think for me, that's
Right.
where the last one thing took me. But I could see where my mom was, and when her dad died, and an uneducated woman taking care of 10 kids, three girls and 7 boys, was tough. So we'll go quickly in the morning dawn. We'll carry all these, call them Ubroni, right, in Ghana, and then we'll take them to
Right.
the lorry station. Walk about probably about 3-4 miles, in pitch dark. Let's say about 4 a.m. just so that she could catch
Wow.
the bus. Yes, and then she will go to the town, go sell, and then when she comes back, we'll go and meet her in the market and bring the thing. So it's like, wow, this story is becoming it's
Yeah.
becoming
So those are some of the sacrifices they did for us. Isaac, you and I wouldn't be here without them. You know,
never.
those are some of the things that, and in earlier on, I said that we cannot fully pay them back.
Never.
Because if you think about all of that, selling their property, selling their clothes, and all of that, just to make sure that we have food to eat, to be somebody in the future. You think about it. Not every. I went to school. Growing up, I went to school with other kids that were very brilliant, right?
Yeah.
And I can't speak to their very specific circumstances, but I don't personally know if their parents also sacrifice for them as much. And I'll tell you, I knew of instances where the parents didn't think that education was the key, for their kids. They thought their kids should grow up and also learn a trade and all of that.
Yes.
I had a friend out that had to drop from school and go learn driving, right, and become a driver. And nothing against that, but I feel like given the opportunities that I had, that my parents gave me, that I got from my family, if he had that opportunity, I believe that something better or greater would have come out of his situation as well. So I think we should not discount that our parents did what they were supposed to do, and they were not supposed to start their stuff. They were not supposed to go hungry for us, but they did all of that just so you and I can have a better future. So we should always show our gratitude.
Yes. I think you're right. I don't know whether you were tempted by this sometimes when like you're saying, your parents are pushing you to go to school. Your parents don't even have any money. They don't have anything. You're pushing you to go to school. Next door neighbor, their parents' priorities are different. They encourage their children to probably go learn a trade or something like that. And then they start doing it, and every day they see money. They are bringing money home, and their parents are flaunting it and everything. I don't know whether you had that, to the point that sometimes it's truck meat, right?
I grew up with a guy. He was my very good friend, and just as you said, his parents, they led him or they advised him to learn a trade, and he went to learn how to drive. And I'm talking about a different guy here, but even at that age, right, he had money. Those times, I don't know how much money that was, quite frankly, but he will go and come, and he comes with this. He has yam, he has food, he's able to buy nice clothes and all of that stuff. So the temptation at the time was real. So I started following him. I was his mate, right? I was his mate. I used to collect the money from the passengers, and then at the end of the day, I'll make some small money.
Some little change.
And I'm telling you, it was so tempting to the extent that I thought about it, that I could do this for the rest of my life. I don't know, but my parents never liked that idea. My brothers never supported that. And so I had to get back to school. There was a time I actually even went to shadow, in Ghana, we call them shoemakers, right?
Okay.
He had a store. I used to go, shoemaker. I used to go and sit with him, learn how he was doing his work. And I really liked him. I looked up to him a lot. I thought I would become a very good shoemaker.
Now look where you are. So from shoemaker apprentice and truck meat apprentice to now director of global treasury at American Express. That's like a dream. It's a blockbuster movie right there, right? So
it's been amazing. It's been amazing.
Where did you go to school?
I started school actually. I went to school at Legon. I got admission to University of Ghana, Legon. I was so excited, but I'll tell you, we didn't have the money to pay the fees, and eventually, when we raised that money, I had no money to pay for accommodation, right? So I went to Legon with this one putumanto.
The big one.
The big one. And I got there, I didn't have a place to sleep, nothing, no money to get, the dormitories or hostels, right? I didn't have the money for that at all. So thankfully, my friends were in a better situation. And so, you know what? It's called a pecha.
Oh, yes, they pitched. When I was at UST, I purchased, yes. So we loaded like sardines in the room.
Yeah. I purchased a friend of mine at in a Kwafu Hall.
Okay.
For a whole year. Very, very good guy. Today is brother to me.
Amazing.
Matter of fact. Yeah. So in the second year, I finally got awarded a room in Commonwealth Hall. That's
the bad guys. The bad guys.
But all of that, and even in my days, right, when you get to Lagos, I've always wanted to go there and do business administration.
Okay.
But back in the day, you had to go in the first year and prove yourself. Basically, you have to pass whatever courses you were assigned. You had no choice at all. They gave me philosophy, classics, and Russian, right?
Okay. Wow.
So I had to do all of those courses that I had zero interest in.
Interesting.
But Isaac, the key here is this. I had a vision, right? I wanted to do business administration. And so when I found out that if I do this pretty well, get good grades, that will factor into me getting selected into that business administration course. I took that pretty seriously, and I ended up getting the scores or the grade that was required, and I did business administration. I graduated from Lagos with pretty. I don't remember that as a 3 something, but it was good. Grade.
That was good.
It was good
Yes.
GPA.
Wow.
And so after that, I did my national service with Volta River Authority.
Okay.
Very good exposure. I did some auditing work over there, traveling across their footprints, auditing their departments, and I developed some really lifelong networks. Some of them are my advisors today, my mentors today, my friends today. And after that, I left and joined,
wow.
So I'll tell you a very funny story. When I joined, in my very first month over there, one of the senior leaders called me into his office one day.
Okay.
And he looked at me and he really berated me. Like he looked at me and told me, look at the way you're dressed.
Oh my goodness.
Right? And I wasn't dressed shabbily. I'll be very honest with you. I did not have, even that time, I didn't have a lot of money to buy good clothes. So I'll go to Cantamanto, Cantonment. Right? Is it Cantonment? They used to call it Cantamanto.
Cantamanto is where you can get the I was talking about, the used clothing, right? The imported used clothing area. Is that what you're talking about, right?
Go there. Right. That's why I used to buy my dresses, right? So my shirts and my pants. And so I got this nice one, but unfortunately the neck it couldn't close. So when I put on my tie, I made sure that it covered that space. But somewhere the man saw this, and he did not take it lightly with me at all. He really disgraced me. He talked to me as if I was nothing. I was really embarrassed because he had other people in his office, and he was one of the very senior leaders over there. When I left his office, Isaac, the way I respond to those life incidences, I will never, ever let issues like that cause me to lose my vision. Yes. So when I left there, I went and asked the question, right? Who is this man? And why is it that way? And I found out that he had studied abroad and came back to Ghana and became one of the senior leaders over there. And from that day, I was determined that I also would travel abroad.
Oh, wow. And, look at the angle that this is taking you to. Instead of looking, instead of looking at the glass half empty, you saw the glass half full.
Exactly. So when you think about that, you always should tell yourself, I can achieve what this person has also achieved and even more. And along the line, during my education and all of that, my big brother, he's called Francis Dogbey. He had the opportunity to travel to Sweden and as a student, and he started sending some small money here and there. And then he moved to the United States. And so I reached out to him and told him I needed him to register for me to study and write my GMAT because I'm coming to the U.S. to study.
Yes.
And he did. One thing, long story short, I gained admission to Virginia Commonwealth University. I came here for my MBA. And whilst I was studying for my MBA, I got hired by one of the big companies here called Wells Fargo Bank. So I did different roles with them. And eventually left the Joint Bank of America and to that American Express. But going back to my encounter with our senior leader, he motivated me so much so that I was never going to take a no for an answer any longer in my
Okay.
quest to become somebody um, who can achieve, right?
Yeah.
And today, I'll tell you, I was traveling somewhere, and when I got to an airport in another country, I met this man right there. And
Oh
suddenly
boy.
I saw him, and we sat down and we started to talk. We all remember all of that incident. And I tell you, today, I don't know what he's gone through in his life, but he's changed completely. He's a very
Wow.
humble man. He's my friend today.
Oh,
Whenever I come to Ghana, I call him up and I get to meet with him, take career counsel from him because it's completely different now. So
eh, is
it's
it is it
easier.
is it on a lighter note though? Is it because now you are dressed nice that he's nice to you?
No, I think he's encountered God or something. I don't know.
Okay.
But I tell you, it's always easy to develop some kind of animosity
Yes.
towards
Against.
people that don't treat you well in life.
Yes.
But we should always look at it this way. Some of those occurrences, right, help us or propel us to get further in life. So I never hold that against him. And like I said, today is my friend, and I'm able to call him up.
Oh. Wow, this is an amazing story. I mean, for most people, that would just break them. You know, it's and I can scale back that where you probably drew that kind of inner strength from was in your upbringing. You know, for instance,
Oh, yes.
when you were growing up and you had to go to the Kenkey seller and say, look, my dad sent me, he said, today there's no money. You give me as the Kenkey, tomorrow we'll settle you. If you've gone through that kind of thing, there is not enough that any other man can do to you that will sink you.
Exactly. That is
So
true.
so you were built up internally. Somebody would say you were built up internally rugged. You were
And I tell
ruggedized.
you, it becomes so easier, right? When you get through
Yes,
stuff like that in life, it becomes so easier to operate outside of your comfort zone. And
exactly.
growth comes when you operate outside of your comfort zone. So for me,
Amazing.
I'll tell you, I've done different stuff, right? I started my career in the United States. I started off supporting consumer banking,
Okay.
business
It was
banking, and digital banking from an FP&A perspective, right?
okay.
And then
Okay.
I moved on. I led a FTP team and moved on to do technology finance, and then
Wow.
moved on to do private banking. And today I'm doing purely treasury funding and liquidity stuff. Now, I say all of that to make this point that whatever you give me, right? If my leaders reach out to me and say, hey, we want you to do this thing else, I would never say no, unless, of course, it's detrimental to me and my family.
Yes.
But
Yes.
I don't like to take up roles that I know that already. Because for me,
Yes.
it's no longer fun, right? The
Yes.
fun is in taking something that you know zero about,
About.
learning that stuff and becoming an SME. That's how I like to operate. All of that is because of how I grew up, being able to make something out of nothing.
Amazing. Amazing. I think this conversation is so eye-opening. It's just so inspiring to the point that these days you see people make excuses because of the problems that they are in. My mom doesn't have any money, my dad doesn't have any money, and I'm being discriminated against. There's nobody endorses discrimination of any kind, but I believe our society, especially our younger people, haven't developed the kind of thick skin that we had to go through. Because for us, there were no options. There was nothing.
Mhm.
I mean, it was whatever it is. That's if it's like take it or just bye bye. That was
Mhm.
kind of the life
Mhm.
that we were used to. So we didn't have
Exactly.
any options. So we were forced to go through the system, and then I realized that virtue has really paid off for us. So let me bring us to this point. Looking at where you are, all these experiences that you had. growing up in Ghana, all these difficulties that you had to go through, and large family too. It's not easy. Sometimes even if your parents want to even do something nice for you, because the resources have to be spread so thin on a large family. Sometimes I don't know whether it happened to you since you are a large sibling base, right? Where clothing has to be cascaded down. Your big brother wears small. You are next in line.
You pass it on, right?
Yeah.
Hand me downs.
It gets to you. The whole thing has faded, and the shoe, the heel of the shoe is almost at 45 degrees, and
man, those are good experiences, though.
So when that said, I want you to share some of the nuggets that you generally have acquired that has really helped you. I know we may have touched on a few here and there, but if you were to advise a young person or somebody who probably maybe they are even in mid-career and they are struggling with various things, can you advise on how to get through some of these difficulties in life generally?
Yeah, you see, moments ago you did mention something. Seeing the glass half full is always better than seeing it as half empty, right?
Yes.
So understanding that no matter what you're faced in life, there is always going to be an opportunity over there. So having that ability to see the good, no matter what you're going through, the good in those difficult circumstances. Think about it, right? People sometimes in Ghana, you've lived here yourself, so you would, I believe you agree with me.
Yes.
The grass is not always greener over here, right?
No.
When I came here, there's been instances, and because of the way I looking different from other people that are competing for a particular sport.
Yes.
You find yourself being discriminated against. And so, talking about life nuggets, what I learned is that make sure that you work twice as hard if you want something.
Amazing.
Don't look at it as, okay, this is the requirement. I get it. The requirement is here. But look at your competition, right? And put in your best foot forward. And we also talked about, operating outside of your comfort zone. It definitely works a lot, because if you're waiting for somebody to bring you that solution, if you're a young guy starting your career or starting even your education at higher levels, and you're expecting miracles to happen, or you're expecting others to understand your plight and come to your rescue, it just may never come. You have to be your own solution. And that doesn't mean that you're an island, right? But you need to be forceful, work harder to get to where you want to be. Now, in doing that, you also need to understand that people you come across could be doors to the next opportunity.
Amazing.
Because the opportunities that I've had in my career, first of all, I tell you, it's because of God. That's the reason why I'm here today. Yes. And it's also because of the people that God allowed me to meet and network with and develop relationships with, that helped me to understand or even serve as a sounding board, right? If I have an idea, it's always better to have other people that can critique these ideas for you to make sure that you're not, leaving any stone unturned. And also be a lifelong learner. You should always be learning.
This is good.
Always be learning. The day you stop to learn is the day you stop to grow. And I'll tell you, those are some of the things that have worked for me, because when I get these opportunities, I take it as a learning opportunity.
Yes.
And I ask myself, how do I get stuff? How do I get the information? So developing that ability to always learn, you will never know it all, right? Yes. You can never know it all. So if you continue to learn, you will definitely achieve what you want to achieve. Knowledge is power.
It is absolutely, absolutely, and I can see, you know, you must be an avid reader all the time. You know, look at your backdrop. It's just a
No, I'm a
testament to.
student now. I'm actually in my doctoral program at
Oh,
University of.
wow. Why you
So
go
all
back
of
to
that,
school again, man?
all of those things are my textbooks.
They did that trick on my eyes, though. But it's good. It's just what you're talking about. You are living what you are talking about. Wow, wow. So when do you finish your PhD?
That is if I don't defer or anything, I should be done in 2 years.
Okay, you will not defer. You will get it. You will get it done, man. You will get it done. Amazing,
Isaac, with
amazing.
all these kids, right? With all the kids, with
Yes, yes,
family, with
yeah.
work and travel and all of that stuff, there's always a lot on the plate. So I
I
hope so
know.
that I don't defer. Thanks for the encouragement. I appreciate that.
Ah, you get it done. You get it done. That is
Thank you.
awesome. That is awesome. Wow. So we are Wisdom. You've been an amazing resource to us. We are blessed to have you, and what you shared with us. Like, wow. It's like some of the times I talk to guests and say, wow, I wish I knew this when I was like 18. I wish I wouldn't have. I think my life would have taken on a whole different tangent, and it's immense. You've opened our eyes to many things. You know, you've opened our eyes to the possibilities of life. From the background that you came from, I know there are people that you led where you grew up in. Who there are still people who you grew up with who are still there. Right, they are stuck, and sometimes it's not because they didn't get any opportunities at all. They probably may have had opportunities and chose to overlook them based on their circumstances. So we've learned a lot, you know. And what you said about network and the people that God brings your way, it's just struck a nerve, because I've been a beneficiary of people that I met that God brought my way, that opened some doors for me. It's been amazing. There are things I could never have done for myself, except God brought those people in my life at that point in time, and then they opened up. So, Wisdom, God bless you. We appreciate you, and we are so thankful for your time today. And we know that this story is going to strike powerful nerves around town. And yeah.
Yeah. Isaac, I really, really appreciate that. Thank you so much for having me. And you know, my thing though is this, right? For your viewers, right?
You're right.
We already shared the nuggets and all of that stuff, but
yes,
what I can add also is a sense or spirit of perseverance, right? Never give up. If you're watching this, right? Never give up, no matter how you started. No matter how you started, it's not about how you started. It's about where you go and what you do when you get over there. So be encouraged, you know, be determined, never lose up.
Wow. Hey, that is amazing. That's amazing. That's amazing. Wisdom. We actually, your mom and your dad, actually say hello to them for us. Mom and dad, you are a blessing.
I'll let them know.
We love you. You've brought forth a son who is no ordinary son. He's he exudes the wisdom of God. Let's put it
son, man.
no, it can't be ordinary. That is the only disagreement I'm going to have with you today. I'm going to disagree with you on that. Yeah, it's amazing. It's amazing. So we will end here, and we will constantly and eternally be grateful to you for your time and your insights today. God bless you, brother, and we will speak.
God bless you too, man.
Yeah.
I appreciate what you're doing, all right? I appreciate what you're doing for the folks over there, and I think anybody else that listens to you globally, they will take a lesson or two, and I think this will change people's lives. So you're really doing great for Mother Ghana and for the world. I appreciate what you're doing.
Thank you.